Hi guys, welcome back to the Player YouTube channel. You join me today with, if you haven't already guessed, the Arteon. And it's not just any old Arteon, this is the VW Arteon Shooting Brake, aka an estate car, or if you're in America, station wagon, because it is a bit of a dad's car. But looking at it, it doesn't look like a dad's car at all, does it? It is really good looking. I was very impressed when this turned up on my drive. And on that note, let's take a look around it. Let's get under the bonnet and have a look at the different engine and gearbox configurations. And let's give you our opinion on this new offering from Volkswagen. So a few years ago when Volkswagen launched the Arteon, it didn't look like this at all. Because I remember, if you click up here now, we did a review on one of those and it was a little bit different to what you see here now. Underneath, yes, it is a Passat, but only underneath. Everything else about this car is unique to this car, especially the way it looks. And I know I keep harping on about the looks, but Volkswagen have really gone to town when it comes to, making this car look very premium. And I think that was the intention all along. They don't want it to look like a Passat because that isn't really a premium car. It's a nice car, but it's not premium. Let's start at the front because this has changed an awful lot since the last one. You've got this new grille and this new aerodynamics that are running here and these lovely sort of split lights here as well. Really, really nice. What really makes this car is these 19-inch alloys. I think they're absolutely amazing, really nice. This is the R-Line, and you see the R there, which dictates what trim level it is. There are 3 trim levels. So you've got an SE nav, then you've got an Elegance, and then you've got the R-Line. And we'll discuss all that, what you get with those individual trim levels when we get inside the car in a minute. There is an R, a silly car that has 320 brake horsepower, all-wheel drive, and costs a fortune. Again, we'll talk about that when we get inside the car, because I was quite impressed with that. Looking down the side of the car, well, it speaks for itself. You've got some lovely lines. There's lots of chrome on here as well, because it still does hark back to the dad sort of car, if you like. But I do like a bit of chrome. And you've also got these frameless doors. So when you open the door, you will actually see the glass goes right up to the edge. Foldy-in mirrors. It's all ticking boxes at the moment. Let's have a look under the bonnet and I'll explain the different engine configurations. Bonnet release down here in the driver's footwell. Don't forget, if you're not in the UK, it's going to be left-hand drive, so it'll be in the passenger footwell. Pretty simple. The bonnet release catch itself is right dead centre there, just above the VW badge. I love that big VW badge at the front there. Much more difficult. Back in my day when we were youngsters, you used to be able to steal these and they were collector's items. Can't do that anymore. And also the logo's slightly changed as well. I just remembered that. This bonnet requires these gas struts. It is huge and it is very heavy as well, so very handy. Again, that premium sort of feel to this car where you get the gas struts and you're having to fiddle about trying to find some sort of strut thing to hold it up. There are a number of different engine choices. Let's start with the engine that's actually in this car itself. This is the 2-litre 200 brake petrol engine. There is an optional 2-litre 150 brake diesel engine as well. Not so good, I don't know, not so bad. Then there's an entry level which is available with the SE nav. It's a 1.5 litre petrol engine that develops about 150 brake horsepower. Now that is the only engine out of those I just mentioned that you can get a 6-speed manual gearbox with. All the rest, barring one other, which I'll explain in a minute, come with a 7-speed auto gearbox. So the one it doesn't come with is the 1.4 litre 220 brake horsepower plug-in hybrid electric, and that's, I can't quite work that out, why it would have a 6-speed auto gearbox and not use the same gearbox as this one. Anyway, not for me to worry about, but that is available if you want it. And don't forget, you've got that R as well, which, as I mentioned, is a 2-litre. I didn't mention it earlier. I did say how many brake horsepower it was, 320. It's a 2-litre engine as well. So it's basically this 2-litre engine with 320 brake horsepower. Have you got all that? Good. If you haven't, rewind, play it again. If not, let's crack on and have a look round the back. Round at the back, still a superb looking car. Love the design on this, especially these sort of misted or grey, smoked glassy LED clusters that they've put on this car. Really nice. You get an aero thing on the top here, you've got your DAB aerial over there, and underneath here, hidden away in there, you've got a nice little brake light. That aero also stops all the muck coming on here. However, they still put a nice little wash wipe on the back. I'm just going to mention this screen at the back because it is remarkably small, and when I mean small, I don't mean in width, because this car is remarkably wide. I mean in depth, because that, I think, is going to probably hinder your rear view out of this car, especially when reversing or manoeuvring about. But we'll talk about that when we get inside. One thing I do like about it, first of all, is it is tinted, and it's properly tinted as well. So is all the back of this glass, especially on this trim level, you get that. Another thing I love, this is the floaty screen. So it sort of sits in its own rubber. There is no actual rubber touching or fitting inside it. So the water doesn't get stuck in it. You don't get all that rusty bit in 10 years' time. Really, really nice. Bit of aero going on down the side here, and that sort of sweeps us round to the Arteon badge in the middle, the VW badge yet again. That is where you push to open the boot. This is electronically assisted, so as soon as I push that in a second, it will automatically open the boot for me. Down at the bottom here, my only little bugbear, as I call it, with this car, are these fake exhausts. They do look really super cool, but they are, trust me, solid. It would just be nice to have one tailpipe either side. I'm sure it wouldn't cost that much, because the extra, time that it's taken to create one of these. The only thing I can think is, if you do have a rear shunt, so to speak, it's not going to affect your exhaust in any way. So you're going to end up just replacing this rear panel at the bottom. Okay, let's do what I said now. Let's push that inside, and there she goes. Look at that. It's really quick as well. I like the fact that it goes up super quick. We've got the blind rear parcel shelf in this. I like these as long as they go away, because don't forget, if we're out and we need that extra space, you need to get rid of the blind. You've got to have somewhere to put it. You don't want your passengers sitting in the back with a blind on their seat, on their laps. So this one does normally just pull away like that. It's got a couple of different positions on it. So as a new car, this is very new as well. It's only done about 600 miles. Takes a little bit of getting used to. It pops out very easily as well. So you can just, one side, there is a little spring catch on this side here. And as you can see, you just push it in and then that releases it. So it's nice and easy. It does go underneath here. Before I put it under here, I just also want to explain something, he says, standing there holding his parcel shelf. This inside here is absolutely massive. You could fit a full-size spare wheel in here. I wouldn't suggest you do, because they're really heavy and they cost a lot of money. Space saver all day long. Not one of these that they give you. These are the latex puncture repair kit things. Throw these away. They're not just disgusting. You get them, and you get this pump as well to pump the tyre up. They just don't work. I'm sorry, I've used them on a number of occasions. They do not work. So get yourself a space saver in there, or if you really don't want that and you do need all that extra room for whatever reason, run flats. That's the way forward, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to put the parcel shelf inside here. Now I know it goes in because this is one we tested earlier. There she goes. Now, it's not designed to have this put inside it, but it does go in, and that's all that matters in my book. So as long as it goes in and that can go flat, job done. It's out of the way, you're not going to damage it, and at least, in an emergency, you've got somewhere to put it. 560 litres of boot space in there, absolutely huge. There's so much in there, it's just ridiculous. There are a couple of shopping bag holders here. There's one here that pops down, and there's another one the other side over there. I cannot seem to find a 12-volt adapter anywhere in here. Now, I think that would have been really handy, a 12-volt adapter, especially in a family car. You're going to be using it for holidays, going out on the weekends. It's really handy to have it in the back. Instead, you're going to have to go all the way up the front to use the 12-volt adapter up there. Anyway, neither here nor there. Let's put the seats down and show you in its entire glory 1,632 litres of boot space. Check this out. You can't do it from the back. You've got to do it from the front here. It's quite simple. Got a little catch there. Now, let's do this as if I was out on the road. There we go. Look at that. Doesn't go entirely flat, okay? It's got this bit of a lip here. However, I'm not complaining, not when I've got this amount of space. I'll show you how much space there is. I'm actually going to climb in here because you know pretty much how tall I am. You saw. Now, look at this. This is what I call, I'm not going to sit there with my legs apart while you film me. Look at that. It's absolutely incredible. You could fit a double bed in here. You've had a row with the partner. We have to call it the partner these days. You've had a row with your partner. You want to go away for the night. You don't want to shack up in some hotel, cost you a fortune. Double bed in here, blow up mattress or something. Look at this. You know, stunning. Let's get around the front, see what it's like for the driver, and also check what it's like for the passengers first. Before we jump in the back for the passengers, I just want to show you how far back this door goes, which makes getting in and out really simple. However, I was about to give it loads of praise there. Look at this window. I was expecting that to go all the way down. That is as far as it will go down. That's not good, is it? Really not good. I know it's safety and all that for kids and, you know, people, but it's not just kids that go in the back here. Anyway, let's jump in, take a look around. First up, look how much space you get. Check that out. I have literally, you know, that's in my normal driving position. That's incredible, the amount of leg space you've got in the back here. You've got recessed seat belts here as well. You've got your ISOFIX points, and these are the pushy innie ones, which are really nice. So you're not going to lose them. You're not going to end up having to pay for another set of these when you sell the car because the kids have pulled them out or broken them. You get full independent rear heating on this as well, and it's actually set here digitally. And with this particular model, the R-Line, you get the heated rear seats. That's going to be so nice in those long cold winter nights when you're dropping people home from your local pub or restaurant, because you are going to be a bit of a taxi service with one of these, let's face it. On the back of the seats, well, a bit of a difference. Normally I get really upset when I just see this old netting that they put there. It looks a bit like Granny's old stockings. But with this, they've actually gone to the effort of making something that's useful. So on the top here, you've got places to put your mobile phones. You've got another place down the bottom here to put your tablet or your iPad or whatever you're using. It's just all really nicely done. And even to the fact that this sort of, there's a bit of like faux carbon here, look. It's nice. It's not real leather, but it just feels like leather. It's really, really good. And I must admit, the vents on the back here are absolutely excellent. I'm going to turn them down because it's blowing a gale through here. Let's talk about the centre section here, because first up, you get a decent shelf here. You get double cup holder, and in the centre there, you can put your energy drink, because if kids are going to be in the back, there's going to be energy drinks flying about all over the place. One thing I do like about this, you can access the ski hatch quite easily here. It's just got a little handle. Now that pulls down. You see, we don't call it a ski hatch here in the UK. No, we call it the B&Q hatch, because B&Q is one of our big DIY stores where you can go and buy long lengths of wood and go home and do DIY things with it, because never in a month of Sundays is the British public going to use one of these to go skiing in. One, we don't really have that many mountains, and two, we're just not that way inclined. We'd rather spend the weekends with the children going down the DIY store. So hence, this is the B&Q hatch, as I call it. If you're in France, it is of course the ski hatch, and it will be used for the skis, for sure. But I love it anyway. It's a 60-40 split. You saw that when I put the bit down at the back there when we were doing the booty bit. Get a couple of decent courtesy lights up there, LED, of course. And I've got to say, the centre section here, well, it's quite comfortable. It's not the lowest of transmission tunnels, but it's manoeuvrable because of the amount of legroom in here. And it's not uncomfortable, to be honest. Definitely. Boozy lunch. Cheryl and Gloria from admin, either side of you. Bob's your uncle. Away you go. Let's check out up front what it's like for the driver, because after all, that's normally the person who's paying for this car. Right, before we get inside, first up, keyless entry and keyless ignition. Really nice. Let's start on the door panel before I climb in. Harman Kardon surround system. Absolutely stunning sound in this car. Once you've got it all connected up through your Apple Play or your Bluetooth, really fantastic. Even the DAB radio. It's got a great equalizer setting on it and a surround system as well. Really good. Harman Kardon. Unlock and lock button here. Automatically, you can set it up so when the car pulls away, it all locks up. Nice and safe. And then when you pull up, if you do need to unlock it, it's just there right next to your door handle, which is where you'd expect it to be. So I know on some cars, I do struggle to try and find it sometimes. I even put it in the middle on some cars. Got a boot release down here on the door as well. So you can lift and lower your boot as well, because it's electronically assisted, as you know. Got your usual mirror settings over here and your window settings over here as well. Really, really nice. Lighting panel just on the right of the steering wheel here. Now, very simple to set up. You've got your auto setting on there. Set it to auto. When I first got the car, next to it is a little button. Now, initially, I thought that was to, you know, change the illumination, to actually lower it or raise it, but it isn't. On this particular car, if you push that like that, you get a heads-up display. Really nice indeed, and that actually disappears so much so you wouldn't even know it was there if you want it off. but it's really great when you get out on the road and you push that, and then you can adjust it by left and right turns on it. So you can get it exactly right how you like it when you're driving along. Some people don't like them. I really love them. I think it's an option. Anyway, down here, there's a little sort of cubby that pops down. Put your wallet in there. I don't think you get a large mobile phone in there, but you will get something of value in there that you want to hide away. Tuck that up there when you get out the car. Let's jump in the car. Before I do that, just one last thing. This car, this particular trim level, comes with some really lovely seats, but these are electronic seats. And this one has a massage button on it. It's absolutely lovely. Right, let's jump in. And first up, I mean, you know, you're gonna feel the quality of this car and immediately you climb into it. Just the actual seating position and the bolstering behind, you know, it's just really, really nice. It's a car that I feel I could just go quite a few hours, hundreds of miles on, and still climb out of it the same way as I felt when I climbed into it. As I said, keyless ignition, so we won't put our foot on the brake and start the car. We will push the button once and everything should light up. Got a lovely big TFT touchscreen in the middle. There she goes. This would also give you a good idea of how quickly this car fires up. There you go. We're there. Matter of seconds and you're welcome to go. You're welcome to go because I saw welcome there, that's why. Okay, looking over, huge digital instrument cluster over here. Really love it on this car. It's the latest VW instrument cluster, as you would expect. It just all works really nicely. You can set it up using the buttons on the right hand side of the steering wheel here. I'm not going to carry this key around anymore. It's got a little key holder there. It's really nice. You can pop it in there and it doesn't float about all over the place when you're driving as well. So on the right here, yes, you can adjust it left and right, up and down, and you can actually change the view on this as well. Really, really nice. I love that. I've got it set up on the conventional view, so I've got my rev meter on the left and I've got my speedo on the right. You can have it fully digital, so however you like it. There's about 4 or 5 different ways of setting it up. Below that, you've got a scroll button down the bottom there. You've also got your Ask VW button at the top there. It's sort of like Ask, you know, those other things that you can go, hey Alexa or whatever, and that will come up and you can sort of say whatever you want to it, and you pre-program it and it will do things for you. On the left hand side here, well, very simple indeed. I love the simplicity of VW's cruise control system. It's called on and off and it really is as simple as that. And if you want to change the speed, so once you press on right there, just down the bottom there, you can then go plus and minus on the speed and it will come up on your digital instrument cluster there. If you want to alter the lane keepy or the distance control, there's a little button on the end of your lighting stalk there. If you push that in, and that will additionally come up there, and then you can scroll using this and this up and down and select what you want on and what you don't want on, because some people really don't like that lane keepy thing when you're on sort of normal roads. It's nice on a motorway or a big A road where you know, keep you in your lane, but on some roads it can get really annoying when you do actually want to cut a corner or something. Anyway, that's there, you've got it there. I love the shape of this steering wheel and I love the feel of it as well. I also love that glossy VW badge in the middle of that matte. You know, it just really sets it off there nicely. And you've got your R badge down here as well, which dictates that this is the R-Line, as I said, right from the beginning. Wiper stalk over here on the right, just set it to auto yet again. I think it's just one up and that's into your auto mode. Before we move to the center section, got a couple of nice courtesy lights up here. On this particular car, we do have a panoramic sunroof and that's operated just here, nice and easy. And there is a blind as well, which can come right across. Again, if it's hot during the summer, it's nice to have that over. It just keeps the sun out when you've left the car, you've gone for a dog walk or whatever you do. The finish on this car is really nice. It has got a very prestige premium feel to it with all this sort of brushed aluminium and stainless steely bits and pieces. So we look in the glove box. It's not the biggest glove box in the world. However, it's even smaller because you've got an owner's handbook in here. Now, I have gone on and on about these in the past. I mean, look at the size of this one. Seriously, come on. I mean, this is, you know, look at it. It's like War and Peace. I've never seen anything like it. Hundreds and hundreds of pages of stuff that you're never going to read. And that just sits in there taking up room. And to be honest, I think it's a complete waste of money and space. We are paying for that. The production of thousands and thousands, if not millions of these books. If they did away with these and those stupid puncture repair kits that they give you, they could afford to give you, manufacturers as in they I'm talking about, they could afford to give you your space saver, you know, spare wheel. I don't get it. And you regain all the space in there. We don't need these. Go online, look up, go on YouTube. Trust me, I'm a YouTuber, I know. You can ask, you know, I need to change a fuse on this. Within 30 seconds, 100 YouTubers are showing you how to change a fuse on this car. Logic, use it. These, throw them. And again, look, everything's now half the size it was. Crazy. Okay, I've had my little rant for the day. Let's talk about this fantastic touchscreen, TFT touchscreen in the middle here. Beautiful. The only issue with it is where it's nice and glossy, as soon as it goes off, if you turn it off, there are hundreds and hundreds of fingerprints over it. I've actually cleaned this one for filming because it was so embarrassing how many fingerprints there were. I didn't realise how greasy my fingers are. So that's your on-off knob. There are only 2 knobs in this car. I don't want any comments on that, thank you very much. There's one there and there's one there. I do like a knob, guys. You know I love a knob. And unfortunately, there's only 2 in here, one for the volume and one for the media adjustment. You know, I love knobs on my heating control panel down here. The reason is, it's just, this is all fiddly. It's all too fiddly. And when you've got gloves on in the winter, or you've got to take gloves off. And, oh, speaking of in the winter, forgot to mention on this particular trim level, heated steering wheel as well. Ooh, we love that. Yeah, little heated steering wheel button down there. Back to over here and my knobs. Yeah, you know, this is difficult. This is in the way. I know we're in the park mode, but even when we're in the drive mode, this is 7-speed auto, by the way, when we're in the drive mode, it's still in the way. You've got to get your hand over here and you can adjust up and down. It's quite easy. You push and touch, or you can scroll and scroll down, which is nice. And you scroll up on your, you know, there you go. Look at that. Or you can touch and it'll go up. This is all nice. It's all nice, but like a knob. Heated front seats on this particular trim level. One there. There you go. I'm going to turn it off because it is quite warm today. It's quite muggy. On your TFT touchscreen, let's start right at the very top. DAB radio, lovely. Media center here. We're going to turn that down, make sure the audio is right off. You've got Apple Play on here. You've got wireless Apple Play. We've got Android mirroring. You've got your Bluetooth. So if you go straight into your media section, you can set all that up how you want it as well. You've got your phone on here. Fantastic, that works really nice as well. You've got your voice. I mentioned over there, you know, that Hey something button, the Hey VW button over here. You set that up here how you want to do it, and that then corresponds to there, and then it will do whatever you tell it to do. Nav is really good on here as well. Got your app section as well. You can download your apps, put them into the car like you do on your phone. Then speaking of car, we've got the car system itself. So this gives you the vehicle status. You've got your tyre pressure monitoring system, things like that. And down here is your main menu. So everything I've just said, which is all around, but now we've got it as widgets. So you can see which one you want and just push it like that on the telephone, and there you go straight to it. And that's got them all there. And as you can see, it's really fast and works really nicely, but manufacturers have got to come up with a screen. Oh, you see there, it's VW's touchy-feely, as I call it. So as I go close, there she goes, pops up. It just needs that glass that doesn't have all the fingerprints on it, because I think that just spoils it. It's not essential, it's not going to be a deal breaker, but it would be nice. So we've covered the heating down here. Obviously you've got full aircon in this car. Moving down here to the buttons. So mode button, mode button. Push that and up your modes come. You have eco, you have comfort, you have normal mode. Great for going backwards and forwards to the school, down to the supermarket. Sport mode, there are paddles as well, so you can put this into manual and play around in sport mode. It does make a big difference. I've had this car in sport mode ever since I've had it. It's really nice. I played around with the normal, a little bit sluggish. The comfort level, lovely on the long run. Definitely use the comfort level. Let's go back into mode. And then you've got an individual setup here. So you can actually set this all up. You just go change up there, set it all up how you like it. So it might be more of a sporty steering wheel feel, might be a sporty with the suspension perhaps on the comfort side. I don't know, however you want to do it. And then you can just press individual and it goes straight into it. Okay, so below that you have your auto stall button. Now you know what I talk about when I say auto stall. You come up to the lights, engine cuts off, it then restarts itself. Personally, I am an eco-friendly person, but that just really annoys me. And sometimes it doesn't always start quick enough and you're waiting to pull out, someone's flashed you and it's like, I don't know where we go. So normally I'll just push that so it goes off. So you can turn that on and off, which is great. You've got park assist on this car as well, just here on the right. And you've also got an all-round camera. I'll push that, there you go. And it gives you a 360-degree view of above the car. We'll talk about the parking camera and the park assist when we get the car out on the road. It's really good. I love it on this car. Turn that off. Disappears as well. Obviously handbrake control here, you've got auto handbrake on this. There's no pull up one, so you know you've got auto hold, you can push that on. That's when you're out and you're on a hill, so it will auto hold for you. 12-volt adapter here, nicely, tucked away. Double cup holder hidden behind here. I like that. Slides backwards and forwards. And then a cubby in here. Not the biggest cubby in the world, but it does pop up, makes that lovely noise, that typical VW noise. Double USB-Cs in here. So at the moment, you're going to need your adapter. This one only has one. Obviously, they don't think I have any passengers. I must be a lonely Billy No-Mates, as they call me. But if you did have a passenger, you're going to end up fighting over who has this one. So I'd suggest you buy another one unless you want to fight with your passenger. I'm going to pop that back in there, shut that down. It is multi-level as well. You can have it at any level you want. Hey, look at that. You can drive along like that. One thing I forgot to mention about in the back, and I do want to mention that because it goes back to the USB chargers, there is a USB-C and there's a 12-volt, and there is also, if you want it, you can have a 240 or a 230-volt plug as well. It's all in the back there behind a little flap. There you go. I did mention it and I didn't forget it. All in all, it's a superb car to actually sit in. It's a driver's car. It was definitely designed for the long distance driver, for someone who really loves their bits and pieces and, just enjoys driving. So on that note, let's get this Arteon shooting brake out on the road and give you our final evaluation with the road bit. So here we are out on the road in the VW Arteon shooting brake. First up, it doesn't feel like an estate car. Got to be honest, it feels more like a large saloon car. You don't feel you've got all of that space behind you at the back. It feels very compact, it's very responsive, superb braking, loving this 7-speed gearbox as well. Really nice aspect to driving as well. You can set this seat up exactly where you want it. I know this is the electronic seat, but to be honest with you, I think you're going to get any seat and in any of the trim levels in this car in the perfect position. It's just a good all-round driver's car. I think that's how this has been designed. I'm loving that heads up. I mean, it's not essential. I'm one of those people that really likes a head-up display, and in this case, it happens to have it, so I'm using it. But very simple to turn it off if you don't want to use it, or you don't, Couple of bits and pieces. Let's talk about the safety on this car. NCAP 5 safety rating, and in a lot of the tests, it outshone the competition by miles. It's a super safe car. You've got super safe added bits to it as well. You've got blind spot mirrors, which are essential in today's modern driving. You've got autonomous braking front and rear, which is great to have because especially with that distance back there. The only hindrance with that small screen would be that you can't see anybody from behind. However, you've got that superb camera that's on here. And you've got the 360 above camera as well, and you've got the all-round beepers, and you've got that as park assist as well. You can't really go wrong. You don't have to worry too much. It's just whether you find it a little bit, off-putting not being able to see out the back. But personally, I don't care. The camera, I must mention, is only available on the Elegance and above trim levels. You can't get it on the SE Nav. Now, let's talk a little bit about economy on this car. Currently driving around town on the Urban, 27.8 to the gallon. That's a 2-litre, 200 horsepower engine that can take 5 people, 2 dogs, bikes, you name it. It's a big estate car. I think that's excellent, absolutely excellent. VW are saying 38 on the combined. I reckon you get this car out on the road, stick it in the cruise control, 70 mile an hour on a main highway, you are going to get more than 38 to the gallon without a shadow of a doubt. I would think you would probably be getting more like 40 plus to the gallon with this car. It's highly economical. I was shocked at that. I wasn't expecting that at all, to be honest with you. A couple of other little bits and pieces. The warranty on this car, a little bit disappointing. It's the bare minimum warranty. It's 3 years or 60,000 miles, whichever comes first. You can extend that. There are options to extend it for a 4th or even a 5th year. I'll be honest, I think VW could do a little bit better on that. It's not the best in the world. There are 7 colour choices in this car, and for a car that you can buy for less than 30,000 UK pounds, that is the SE Nav entry level 1.5 litre, less than 30,000 UK pounds. Pretty much getting a lot of what you see in here, not the camera, obviously, we mentioned that, but value for money. I mean, that ticks a huge box. If you didn't want all the frills and spills on one of these cars, you can buy yourself a car that looks like this, that's getting the looks, that's got the comfort for less than 30 grand. I think that is a deal breaker, and that's something you should definitely speak about when you get down to your local showroom for a test, which is what I highly recommend you do with the VW Arteon shooting brake. So there you have it, guys, another video from AJ the Player, and I hope you really enjoyed that one. I did. I enjoyed making it as well. But before you go, I'm going to give you something for free. Yes, something for free. It's called the Player Bookazine. Now, if you're not aware, the Player is a much bigger organisation than just a YouTube channel. We are part of a big magazine. It's a bookazine for guys. It's got cars, it's got boats, it's got planes, golf, helicopters, interviews, everything us guys love. And ladies, if you are watching, please feel free to have a look, because there's nothing untoward in our pages. It's all there for everybody to enjoy, but it's mainly geared towards a male lifestyle. There you go. Now, you can have the online version of this completely free of charge. You can't have the big book. That costs £100 each. I'd love to give you one for nothing, but I don't think my boss would be too happy about that. But you can have the online one, and we're not even going to data capture off you, because all you've got to do is put your name in and your email, and then you can download it, or you can actually flick the pages online, because the clever bods at the Player have made it so you can do it with your finger or a mouse. Very clever. I love using it. It's great. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, so now you need to know how to get that. Two ways. One is, hang on, pull that in there. There you go. www.theplayer.co.uk. Go straight to the subscribe section. Just stick your name and your email in there, like I said. Hang on, I'll leave it up there for a minute so you can remember. I'll do better than that. Ready? There you go. Up there. There's a link straight through to the website. Go there as well if you want. When you get there, just fill in those details that I told you about. Simple as, and it's all yours, and you don't owe us anything. And don't forget, like, subscribe and comment to the actual AJ the Player YouTube channel, because if you subscribe, then you're going to get, you know, regular updates. If you leave the bell sign unchecked, of course, do that. And then we're putting up different videos every week. You know, could be anything. Even I don't know half the time. That's good fun about doing this job. One thing I would like to ask you is, don't forget the thumbs up, guys, because I don't get pay rises, I don't get bonuses, you know, there's no more money in it, but it is pat on the back from the boss and the sponsors. It means we're doing a good job. If you don't think we're doing a good job, don't give us the thumbs up. But if you do, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next week with something else.